they are criminals.
They are.
That brings us to our next bonehead of the week, Donald Trump, because we put him on there for the video that he did,
right?
The absolute just shitty diaper rant that he did that we went over yesterday, and we'll play a little bit of it here. But we've had news since that happened this morning. They are officially a crime family. Not only have they been charged with 17 counts of fraud, but they've been sentenced, as it were. Alan Weisselberg, the CFO, is going to serve 5 months in Rikers, which is probably like 50 years, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not enough.
Yeah. But here's the thing. At age 75, 5 months in Rikers, it ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be a nice trip.
Listen, I would not want to be locked up in Rikers for a minute. And a day would probably seem like a month in Rikers because of the situation there. But it's not enough for Alan Weisselberg. And really, honestly, if Donald Trump ever gets convicted of crimes, I think we should just give him life in Rikers. That would be appropriate. But
he probably wouldn't survive 6 months, I would assume.
Here's what I'm telling the audience this morning is that the Trump organization is a criminal organization this morning, in that they are being forced by a judge to pay not near enough, but $1.61 million towards restitution to the state of New York for defrauding them in tax schemes and hiding money and hiding taxes that they owed to the state, which, again, I don't think is enough. Now, that is why you have the Attorney General of New York, Tish James, bringing a civil case. There's a lot lower bar, and there's a lot different laws when you're actually having to pay restitution in those ways. This was the max. Now, for everyone just to know that the judge didn't go light on Donald Trump and his criminal organization and his crime family by only fining them $1.61 million. He didn't go light on. That's the max he could give them. So he gave them the absolute highest dollar he could by New York law that he could possibly fine them. Is that the way you understand it?
Yeah, that's the way that I look at it. And the other thing I want to add, and I'm going to send you this clip right now, is as much as, Alvin Bragg really dropped the ball on this, right? He wants to be like, oh, well, this wasn't clearly enough and all this bullshit. He could have done a better job at following through with this. However, in this clip, it makes it sound like there is going to be more, right? So it sounds like we already know about Tish James and her investigation, right? That's a $250 million lawsuit against Trump, the Trump org, and his 3 adult children.
So here, this is Alan Bragg standing at the podium, and this is after the judge has ordered the $1.16 million. Let's take a listen.
The sentencing today, along with the sentencing earlier this week, closes this important chapter of our ongoing investigation into the former president and his businesses. We now move on to the next chapter. Thank you.
You say it closes the chapter. Can you use Alan Weisselberg again to pursue Mr. Trump, sir?
So the way that I see this is it's potentially discussing a whole separate phase of this investigation.
Right, because he's very careful about how he says that, right?
Right.
Alan Bragg is very measured, which most prosecutors are in these moments, if it's a big moment like this, when he says closing this chapter, moving on to the next chapter, which maybe Alan Bragg is throwing his weight to Tish James.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe they are considering continuing some sort of investigation,
and there might be
Trump and his criminal organization.
I mean, we know with Trump, there's always a crime that's been committed, right? The guy wakes up and he's criming. That's honestly how he works.
And it's not just one.
And it's not just one. It's always
one at a time.
Yeah, he crimed, and then he crimed to cover up the crime, and then he crimed to cover up the crime to cover up the crime. Like it's
he
a big
throws
shell
crimes
game
around like he throws ketchup at the wall.
Right,
sure.
Exactly. Like the crimes that Trump commits is like a Russian nesting doll. Like you pick one, you're like, oh, there's a crime within that crime that the crime was covering up for the previous crime, right? And that is exactly what's happening here. And I honestly think that, well, at least I hope, is when he says next chapter that he's discussing something that isn't privy to the public, right? I mean, he might have, maybe he's referring to Tish James, but there's a part of me that's assuming that he's actually talking about something else, right?
Well, I don't believe that Alan Bragg would actually, especially in public, give way for Tish James in a civil suit
Right.
He would want that notch on his belt. That's what prosecutors ultimately do.
Yeah.
That's what you have to remember about Jack Smith or anyone else is they want a notch on their belt. Even in this Biden documents thing, they're going to want a notch. But if they can't get a notch, they can't get it. Speaking of notches, look at this ass crack.
Oh,
Holy moly!
Oh,
This is
God.
another reason why this the Cheeto
Ooh, that looks like a
it's
weathered
bad.
belt.
It's bad. This is real.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't edit this.
That's rough.
This is part of the video.
Oh boy.
He looks like well, what did you say the other day? An old piece of leather laying out in the sun, the Florida sun for a couple
Yeah,
weeks?
I said it looks like an old piece of leather that had been laying out in the Florida sun, aged beyond belief. It
He is
reminds
not
me
aging well.
It
He's
reminds
just
me of that woman in Florida who's, got the like bleach blonde hair from the sun and frazzled, and the sun, take off the sunglasses and you see like a big white area here and lines across, and you look at her skin and it looks like beef jerky. Like it looks like some
like a saddle that you throw on a horse.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not going to listen to this whole thing, but I want to get to a certain point because there's a point in this video where he says something that is just fucking hilarious and makes you laugh out loud because you just want to mock him so much that he's even projecting his own wishes that how his cult will see him. It's hilarious. Watch.
The now famous Twitter files have proven beyond all doubt that the corrupt officials at the FBI have been coordinating a massive censorship, surveillance, and propaganda campaign against the American people and, frankly, against me.
Why does it always seem like he just had an enema? Like he just like he's preparing. He had to prepare for this thing. So he can, it's just
he's like, the now famous Twitter files. I mean, it looks like they had to give him like a suppository to really get him woke up in the morning.
I know.
He's like, okay,
I'm telling you.
Or maybe it's like a coffee enema, right?
I don't know.
The caffeine beans are hitting this colon.
Ooh, the beans in the butt.
The kofefe beans are hitting the colon, baby.
Oh, the butt stuff. Definitely looks like that's going on with this guy. Let's continue here because I want to get to this funny part. Let's get to it.
In the most recent and notorious example, the FBI worked to stop the truth from being told about the Biden family's criminality. They worked so hard to stop it from coming out, and the corruption prior to the 2020 election. They didn't want any bad information to come out about the Biden family. The fix was in, the election was rigged, but the censorship of the laptop from hell is only the beginning of the story about the weaponization of government against free speech. We must have free speech in our country. We must have a fair and free press. As recent reporting shows, the FBI and other rogue agencies have been systematically colluding with former national security officials placed in high positions at Twitter and very likely other companies to advance their censorship regime, which is really, in this case, to steal an election. This anti-American effort, and a very illegal effort at that, has been working to silence dissenting opinions on COVID and crucial issues on public health and on the election and elections in the future. They suppressed doctors and health experts who dared to question approved public health narratives. They censored voices who criticized school closures, lockdowns, and mandates. And they even banned people simply for stating proven scientific facts. And anything bad about China, they didn't want out. But anything bad about Biden and the Biden crime family, and that's what it was, just look at the laptop from hell. They didn't want that coming out under any circumstances. What they wanted coming out was anything bad about your favorite president, me.
That's the best part.
What they didn't want is your favorite is coming
God.
out about your favorite president, me.
Like it's hilarious that he thinks the audience knows who the favorite president is, but he still has to say.
I mean, if anyone remembers, like he did the same thing when he released his digital trading cards. He was like, "Look, hopefully, guys, I'm making this video because I'm fucking broke. Hopefully, guys, you love me. Maybe I'm
Right.
your favorite president, like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln.
He's
and it's
better.
like,
He said he was better than them. Isn't that what he
right,
said?
better. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
way
yeah.
better than they
I'm
are.
better. He's like, hopefully. Meanwhile, he's trying to push the idea of
Oh my
get a
God.
free dinner with me, or you pay $99 for dinner.
What's hilarious is this guy, this shitbox, this fucking shitty diaper running around, being a scourge on our democracy, actually believes that somehow, some way, someday that his face is going to be carved in around Mount Rushmore. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. This guy, he could literally be on our bonehead list every single week. He really could every single week. And I believe that video where he's talking about the Biden crime family, he knew they were going to be sentenced the next day. He knew they were going to pay the maximum fine. He knew it was going to make him look like a criminal because he is. They are the Trump crime family. That is what they are. These are the facts.
If you ever hear Trump speak, it's projecting something that he has done. Some illegal, some crime he has committed, some crime and he's doing. Whenever he complains about something, he's actually subconsciously admitting to the crime that he himself or his family have done. Right.
He just likes all the lies, not just a few of them. And if you want to see more of this style content, come here every Friday on the Tony Michaels podcast. Bonehead of the Week airs every single Friday in the second hour, and a clip on MeidasTouch Network. Make sure to subscribe to our channel now. We're trying to get to 20,000. Get us to 20,000 on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching right now on another YouTube channel or another platform, come over to the Tony Michaels podcast on YouTube and subscribe. We're going to do a huge drive to get to 20,000. And hell, if you're on the MeidasTouch Network, hit that subscribe button down there too. Also, to vote for Bonehead of the Week, you go to @TonyMichaelsPod on Twitter, or you can vote on the YouTube channel. So again, that's why you got to subscribe and go to the community tab, and you can vote every week, every single week, and you can download every Friday's episode on Apple, Spotify, Google, and listen to Bonehead of the Week in the second hour of Friday's episode. Oh boy, a lot of boneheads this week, but George Santos, boy, he beat the pants off these other boneheads.
I mean, they didn't really stand it. At one point, I sent you a screenshot last night where it was literally tied. It was tied between McCarthy and Santos on Twitter, 43.6 to 43.6. He came out at the end, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, for a moment, I was like, oh, this could go either way. You know, the man who's the fraud and the man who's protecting the fraud.
Well, that these are Republicans. These are Republicans. Yeah. It happens that way. Everyone, thanks for joining us for Bonehead of the Week. If you're on the live podcast right now, stick around. We have a few announcements. This has been your edition of Bonehead of the Week.